Guys, let's have a talk. We have a huge problem. Look at the graph. Less than 5% of you are subscribed to my channel. It doesn't take much to make me happy. How about 1 in 5 of you subscribe right now?
What would you do? It's been 41 days since D-Day, yes, Christmas Day. Reading through here has helped me. I wanted to tell my story, so here goes. This is long and typing it out is for my benefit. Been journaling a lot, several pages a day. Great release. We started dating in fall 1997 or spring of 1998, never been able to pinpoint down when the two of us became an official we. Definitely kissed her in 97, but we were pretty loose for a while. We'd go out on dates with each other, then other people, then back together and began spending more and more time with each other, and by the summer there was definitely an us. She got an apartment across the parking lot at the complex I was living in the fall of 98, and because of one of the ass clowns I was friends with at the time wouldn't move out, I basically moved in with her. That fall, clothes and bed at my apartment, slept every night in hers. We were happy, and by the fall of 2001 I asked her to marry me and were married in 2002. Spent the first several years together having fun, and had our first child in 07, and his brother in 11. Been in a happy, committed relationship for 21 years, coming in on 17 married. We are realists that marriage is never perfect, it has its highs and its lows. We are both musicians and have always equated marriage to a good piece of music. Has its moments that are forte high, raucous, and its moments that are pianissimo lows, wrought with emotion. We have always shared this sentiment with budding couples of newlyweds. Just roll with it and embrace it for what it is. If you don't have the lows fights, you aren't really living an authentic relationship. Lol, we had it all figured out, right? We have had some recent stress after living our entire lives in one region. We decided to take a jump and move to another part of the country. This was followed by a layoff within the first 18 months, leading to another move, even further from home. We have now settled into our new home, and find that the company we moved here for no longer has a home for us in it, leading to another job change. This has been hard of my spouse, where it all went wrong. I have been suspicious of something going on for a while now, and had begun really losing sleep on the issue. It began with an anecdotal story in July of last year about a co-worked on a work trip in Vegas that had been sharing some very intimate company insider information with my spouse. She indicated that he should not have been telling, but was drunk and perhaps a bit lippy. It honestly sounded like pillow talk. Based on the nature of the relationship, I pointed it out to her and was a bit prickly when she mentioned him again, but passed it off on a friend relationship and that there was nothing to worry about. Then as fall rolled around, there were more and more tells of something off. A change in grooming habits, some new lingerie, and some other little pieces. The biggest was one night while we were having time, she began to cry. I couldn't figure out what exactly was happening. She mentioned that she was going through some stuff and might even act a little strange for a period, and not to take it to heart, just go eat her some space. Well, all of this added up in my mind, and I asked her several times if there was something going on and was she cheating on me. The night of Christmas Eve to Christmas I decided I needed resolution and would take matters into my own hands by looking at her texts on her phone to find evidence. I did not plan for it that morning, yes, Christmas morning while breakfast was being cooked in the glow of torn wrapping paper tossed around the Christmas tree, but I ended up with her phone helping to transfer son's old to new phone and did a quick review. Found the text I hoped would not be there and only words remember seeing were, "I cannot take you being all over me 1 minute and ignore me another." I was ducking devastated instantly. Ducking destroyed. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't stand, I couldn't talk. My son was in the room. Said, "Something you okay, Dad?" I stumbled into the kitchen and told her I found a message on her phone. To her credit, we walked outside and talked through it. She claims to have given me the blow-by-blow and full disclosure. 3 total events. One in his apartment in another state where he has relocated and she was visiting for work while her company moves. She went over to cook hot dogs for a restaurant concept. He came up behind her and she leaned into it and kissed him back. They went into his bedroom and made out. She claims they stopped before either got naked and there was no time. One more was 2 days later in the office in the other state. The last time was in the local office, on 12/14, 11 days before I found out about them. Later that week, she let me read the entire text chain back and forth between them. She and I both know this is only part of the story. They were able to talk in person, email and work him. I have not seen any of these other communications. From what I read, it appeared that the notion that they had not had as time was confirmed. She told me that they were done, the intimate relationship was done, but through work and the relationship they needed to have for the business, they would still be in contact. Initially she indicated that they would work through intermediaries, however that clearly devolved and they were rather quickly back to email and M. I told her that I needed to know that they were finished. She needed to take decisive action to end the relationship so I could sleep at night and find a path forward. Needless to say, and to nobody's surprise, I was crushed. I was hopeless and in despair. I was not angry with her, but kept asking the question why? Why did this happen? I have done nothing but love her and be patient. She even admits she is not the easiest to live with. We had fun together and knew when toggle each other's space it was a success where others have failed. We returned from our trip to the other coast to visit family for the holidays and after a couple weeks set up couples therapy. This was surprisingly a chore for her. I picked out a list of therapists and told her who I liked best. She told me she wanted a woman and took her time picking out one. We went to our first session on, and it appeared that we were in lockstep to find a way forward. However, we stepped on a bit of a landmine. While our therapist was discussing the process, she said the phrase, "This is what we will do, if this is what you really want." For some reason that triggered my wife to question what she really wanted. She needed clarity on why she chose to act on her urges and attraction to another man, in spite of her marital relationship with me. She asked for a pause on the couples therapy, pointing out that each of us needed to work on ourselves first. She mainly needed to answer the question why. This was crushing to me. How could she not know what she wants? Couple this with the knowledge that in spite of my repeated and clear requests to end the relationship with him, even if no longer physical and was above the board, she was still carrying a friendly fraternal relationship with him. Then the further blows come in that have absolutely crippled me. Thursday 1/17, I am taking my kids to basketball practice and ask her to join me, but she says she is going to work late instead. I drive by the office seeking a quick hug and kiss. I am needy in this space and her office is dark. She's not there. I confront her on the issue and she claims that she had just run out for a forgotten waxing appointment. Friday 1/18, I find the image of a text from him: "Hide in the kitchen if I promise not to kiss you." Her response: "Count to 10. I confront her and tell her to end it or I am moving out the next day. When we meet up later, she says I took care of it. I find out just days later she did nothing. Monday 1/21, she texts him in a group of friends at work. I don't know the details of the text, only that she texted him. Wednesday 1/23, she returned early from business trip. This is unheard of from her. Been with her a long time. I might remember a handful of times when she came home early from work, let alone a business trip. Thursday 1/24, she goes to happy hour with work friends to celebrate a peer that was leaving. She says in advance he might be there. She later admits that he was, but she ignored him and did not interact. Yeah, okay. Sarcasm. That night she turned off the Find My iPhone app on her phone in spite of location services being turned off. I never could tell where she was. I later find a text to two of the friends going, urging them not to flake out, that she, my wife, had planned this happy hour only because he was there and that they needed to come too. Not this bullshit story that he might stop by. She planned the ducking event expressly for him to come. These events have killed me inside. Not only did she beat me down with the initial infidelity, but she continued to dig the knife into my heart with repeated trauma. I have cried more than I ever thought humanly possible, and even shared with her brief, oh so fleeting moments of hurting myself. I have talked to my therapist about this notion. I am going to be okay. Yet she still took this selfish, inconsiderate action. I knew what was happening, yet I did nothing like a ducking pussy. I told myself I loved her too much and needed her in my life, that I must find a way to trust and give space while she seeks out clarity with her therapist. This crucial insight is paramount to me. I want to find our way forward, but she has to be 100% in it, not just there because of an obligation, comfort with the kids or I. I vowed to move out this weekend, even reached out to a friend to find a place to stay. Then Friday, she let me know that she had taken action to end the relationship. She spoke to him in person in the office on Friday and told him they could no longer have contact with each other. She told him that she was making a choice and that they were no more. She even offered me evidence in a text from him saying farewell and that they had each blocked the other's number for texting. I should be elated. I should be happy that there is an indication of hope for a shared future together, yet I am skeptical. She is still the captain of her own domain. What stops her from acting out with him or someone else again? Can I live with myself that I allow her to deceive and disrespect me? How can I know that she is not taking my love for granted? Update. Hey everyone, hope you are doing well and coping with the struggle of infidelity. I wanted to post a quick follow-up. I posted on here about a month after D-Day, heartbroken and traumatized, but hopeful that we would find a path forward together. Despite the actions, I was understanding and wanted it to work. I in many ways forgave her. Responses to the post unanimously were to end it and head for the hills. There was no recovery. I remember how disheartening this was. I just wanted hope and encouragement. People were saying I was doing the pick-me dance. You know what, they were not wrong. She continued the affair, and despite thousands of dollars on therapy, she kept the relationship alive. And now after 2 years of heartbreak and a year of separation, we are getting divorced. So, folks, I hate to say it, but a cheater is always a cheater. I am open to chatting about my experience with anyone. Would love to be the voice of hope for you, as bleak as it may be. Update 2. 1. She has not worked at the same company since last spring. Outing her to the company is not an option. 2. I am not informing the AP's spouse of what has taken place. At this point, we are divorced within weeks. It will be final and not worth any fallout. I am moving on. If he wants to sort out his own marriage, that's on him. Update with questions. As for today, I am a newly divorced dad looking for thoughts and feedback from the divorced population. Divorce final in a few weeks. My ex had an affair that was a significant contributor to the demise of my marriage. Not entirely the reason, but the reason I was unable to embrace reconciliation when it finally came around. I have long fantasized about confronting her AP and sharing with him the devastation his and my ex took on me and my family. Apparently he is a family man, and that played a role on the two of them not ending up together, which I would actually support. I love my kids and would like to remain amicable and try to be even friends with her. We have known each other for a long time and we have a long-seated friendship, in spite of the bullshit of the last few years. Now that we are divorced and relatively amicable, would you consider making that fantasy a reality, or just move on and get on with living the better life? Thanks. Just looking for opinions, thanks.